Tim and Felicia are in Paris before the Olympics. It is quite a mess here. They're making a mess of things, but getting ready for the Olympics. Look at stadium everywhere. I know, thank you. And so we are doing very, very cool things, and we will let you know what we think of Paris. Tim Cruise and Felicia, let's talk about our tour of Paris. We hired a travel agent and they booked a tour, and we did find some of the best ways to capture views of Paris without going up the Eiffel Tower and waiting in line. This was much easier. We'll talk about this later in the video. Also, we were able to see the Arc du Trafic, which you can, I think, go up into this building and go up top, but good luck getting across that traffic. That place is nuts, so nice video of that. The handsome Chippendale roller cops of Paris, France. Yes, you could see them in action. They're all pretty buff, right? Not gonna lie. And the Louvre, which is not a bathroom, which is what I thought. It's actually a museum underground. And the overrated Mona Lisa. There are some better works by Da Vinci in this museum. I think they have like 20% of all of his works. He didn't do too many, but they're here in this museum. We'll show you where they are as well. We also took a short ride on the Paris Metro. And we got, I'm not gonna lie, we got stuck trying to get out of this freaking thing for 30 minutes because we took a wrong turn and the signs are terrible. Also some Emily in Paris locations. Yes, this is what's his name's restaurant. And we did stumble upon Fashion Week, speaking of Emily in Paris, and we learned that you can pair royal blue shoes with purple, whatever this thing is. And don't try the French onion soup in Paris. It is awful. It is much better in the United States. How ironic, right? And if you really want to try something different, there's always Couze de Grillon, or thigh of frog, which we did not do. Our journey began at the St. Pancras Hotel because it's right on top of the train station where the Eurostar takes off. And that is super convenient. There's a mall down there. There's restaurants. You could do some shopping. I bought some underwear and whatever. So it's super. You don't have to take a transfer. No taxi necessary. You're right there on top of the train station. Just roll your stuff down from the hotel. The hotel's not that expensive either. And it does work with your Marriott Bonvoy points if you do that kind of thing. Now, this day it wasn't too bad. We checked it out the day before, but the day we went, it was a little hairy. It's chaos here for the Eurostar train station in London. We don't know what's going on. Look. So yeah, when a couple of trains are late, it kind of backs up the whole thing, and there's nowhere to sit, there's nowhere to stand. And in the summer, this was June, it was hot as I don't know what. Now, this is the escalator, but it doesn't have any steps. So when your train's finally here, you got to walk up the escalator, which is pretty handy if you have luggage because you can roll it right on here and you don't have to worry about the steps. But it is awkward, and apparently a lot of people have never tried one of these before, including us. You know, you're kind of expecting the steps to come up, but it doesn't. But it's kind of a nice way to get on the train. Now, our travel agent, in all his infinite knowledge, booked us on this thing. But we didn't realize we were getting on the last car. So the front car and the last car are a little different because once you get to Paris, you're going to have to wait in a ginormous line to get off the Eurostar. So you really want to be in the front or towards the front. And we did do the upgraded seats. We did the, whatever the select is. We didn't do the top. There's 3 tiers. We did the middle tier, which gives you a little bit more room. Really nice seats and a really nice meal too. And with ours, you're allowed to bring 2 bags. Now this here, our travel agent didn't book us a window knowing it's our first time on the Eurostar. He's a moron, and I fired him. I'll never use him again. He puts us in front of this thing. Now, I'm going to be honest, a lot of it's underground. You're going to go through the tunnel, so it's going to be dark. But a lot of it, you can see some really nice French scenery outside, as I'll show you later. I got up. The seat across from us was untaken, so fortunately I was able to go to that window. But you're going to get your meal in here, and you get served wine with your meal. How cool is that? It was amazing. It was a really good meal, too. And a lot of these people probably do this a lot, and they pull their shades down. Weirdos. Come on, enjoy it a little bit. So we got the chicken. What was weird is the chicken is cold. It's not warm. It's served cold. I mean, it's cooked. It's not raw, but they serve it cold. So just be aware of that. And it's completely safe. It's good. I didn't have any tummy trouble. Well, I drank a lot of wine, too. You get a refill on the wine, too. A nice Schwa was nice, and Felicia opted for a nice white, a nice Blanco. And, it's not the best cut of chicken, but for a train meal, right? That's pretty cool. And they give you metal utensils, right? And glassware. I mean, I felt like a human here. This was amazing. I love this train ride.
So 2 glasses of wine in, I was getting it on, and then she's pouring coffee. I'm like, coffee? You really want to dilute me, bro? What do you want to do that for? So I did have a little bit of coffee just to, to keep me awake. It's going to be a long day, and then I kind of passed out. But, and then we did take a walk. My buddy here, Joe Money, was on, and we decided to walk through because I heard there was a bar car. Now, this is the normal seats here. You can see how tight these are, and people are like facing each other. So you have to hear people burp and snore. And then we went to the bar car, and they told us, oh, you can't film in here. So I had to shut it off immediately, although bro was totally ready to be on camera. He's like, yeah, let me tell you about my job, my life. He's like, no. So here's some tunnel trivia. It moves really fast. And here's the bathroom. They are really super clean. I'm not sure why there was a Coke in there. It was a little weird. And Pringles. All right, maybe they're mine. But look how clean this is. It's small, but it's more than apt to get your business done. And windmills. We're now in France. We're heading towards Paris. And it's quite a long ride thing, but this thing moves fast. And there's high-speed internet. The download's really good, so you could stream your favorite show on this thing without a problem. You see there's like 40 down. Now, if you want to upload something to YouTube like we are, well, you're going to have a problem. It's only 1.63 up, but not bad at all. Now, I did catch a little bit of shot-eye. We're on standard premiere. They're about to change these in November this year.
Felicity is in Paris.
Yes, I am.
It is a mess here everywhere. Hopefully we'll show you more. What?
Getting on the Eurotrain is quite
We look lucky to come like that.
Now again, Kyle, our bonehead travel agent, who had fired as the worst travel agent in the world, didn't tell us we were going to be on the last train. I mistakenly let him book this for us. So we come into Paris Gare du Nord and found my driver. We hired black lane drivers to get us between the hotel and the train station because I didn't want to muck around with taxis. You're going to wait all day, and I don't speak the language, and I was afraid somebody's going to rip me off, so I just overpaid a limo driver and got some car service, right? Why not? But you can see all the taxis are out here. There's a truckload of traffic out here. There was a McDonald's to the left. I was very excited about that too. And we were traveling with a child too. She's like, oh, can I get a cheeseburger? Come on. And we didn't go in there. We did go to a McDonald's in Paris a little bit later on. And I won't tell you about that experience. So we stayed at the West in Paris, which was really close to the Louvre, but it was Fashion Week. Look at all these people dressed up here and smoking. Smoking's a big thing in Europe, right? And this is the view from our room at the West End. We chose an Eiffel Tower view, and you can see the Louvre, you can see the Eiffel Tower. It was amazing, especially at night. We are in Paris, France. We are trying to figure out how to find food because we are hungry and we do not know French. And
So where did we end up?
we are at, what is it called? Les Pastels, which is off the Rue des Opera, and it's a pizza joint.
When in Paris, have pizza.
All the way to Paris for pizza. All right, so it's better than getting a Burger King in Norway, okay? But I was starving. It's probably really good. Now, here's the Louvre, which wasn't too far from our hotel, from the West End. And this place is huge. And there's a whole bunch of these Arc de Triomphe, and they're all connected. I think there's 3 of them. And this is the first one, which starts at the Louvre, and you can see a little triangle behind it. It looks nothing like it looks like in the movies. Of course, they frame those kind of funky. But I don't know. So we went back to our hotel after dinner, and here is the Eiffel Tower. And I think on the hour or half hour or whatever, they turn on the little sparkly lights, and you can see them pop on right here. And you can see that if you're around at nighttime. Now, in the summertime in June, it doesn't get dark till like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It's really weird because they're so far north in the hemisphere. But it looks amazing, and it's really a sight to see, especially from your hotel room. Or you could just see this standing on the street from nearly anywhere because this thing's so freaking tall, right? So the next day, we went to sleep, caught a little bit of shut-eye. We were exhausted, and we took a tour. We took a tour from Orange Tours, I think it was, and they sent us this Russian tour guide. And we told her the most important thing we wanted to see was the Emily in Paris stuff, and she completely didn't understand that and blew it off and didn't do it, so I was really mad. But she did show us some really cool stuff, including Montmartre, which apparently is part of her normal tour, which is really cool. And I didn't know anything about this place, but it is a really beautiful, tiny little neighborhood in France, kind of like towards the north area, and it's actually on top of a mountain. And it's some beautiful scenery up there. There's lots of little cafes and ice cream, gelato places. They do crepes, and a lot of artists will paint things right on the street for you. And I thought that was pretty cool. And again, I had no idea this place existed. And it is gorgeous. There's a couple of churches up there, like the Sacre de Coeur, however you say that stuff. And you can walk through that too, but the line is a nightmare, and I'll show you a little bit later in this video. But walking through this neighborhood is it's fabulous. I've seen this in movies and TV shows, but I didn't know what it was called. So I was very grateful to our Russian tour guide for taking us through this and showing this to us, because I wouldn't have known to go up here. And again, it's virtually on top of a mountain. And I'll show you some of the scenery you can see here. And there's one other really cool thing here too. I'll show you in a minute. But unbelievable, like an art fair all day, and people were buying stuff all over the place, sitting at the cafes. I mean, if you want to experience Paris, this is a great place to do it. I'm even considering when we go back, I want to stay in a hotel or a bed and breakfast here in this area, because it's just so beautiful. It really is. There's art galleries, there are crepe places, there's little cafes everywhere. There's this open air cafe, which is really nice, which I think was in a couple of films and TV shows as well, and you will love that. I mean, this is Paris. This is Europe. This is what you feel like in Europe. You're outside, you feel safe, you've got a whole bunch of people around you. Everybody appears to be in a good mood. Everybody wants to just chill and enjoy life and enjoy being in Europe, you know? And look at some of these paintings. They're just gorgeous. Some of these people are amazingly talented, and they're here 7 days a week from what I understand. And we couldn't help it. We had to get a crepe at one of these places. We didn't have time because we were on a guided tour, and we had a very limited, it was a half-day tour, I guess. I didn't know that when I booked it, but surprise. And we couldn't stop at one of these little cafes. We really wanted to eat on the street, on the sidewalk, like people in Europe do, but we couldn't have that opportunity up here, so we did that later in the day. And there's these brasseries, and people are just all over the place having the time of their life. There's this Le Maston Rose, excuse my pronunciation, apparently a very famous restaurant, which does require reservations. But you can see these hilly roads and these tiny little streets here. And this is where I got my crepe, my authentic French crepe, my first crepe. And it was flawless. It was perfect. I don't remember the name of this place, but you'll see it down there. She's cooking right on the sidewalk. And they were so friendly and so nice. And I think they have gelato and all kinds of stuff in here too. And yeah, they sell beer in the back, which is really nice. You could have beer and a crepe, which is a very, very interesting combination for me. So I didn't know how to even act here. And we had a little romantic moment on the street. And here is Sacre de Coeur, whatever that church is. And she's like, yeah, let's go in for 5 minutes. And then we saw the line wound or the queue, they call it out there, all the way around. They're so organized too. I mean, these people are so well behaved. You see there's no stanchions here. They're just standing in this nice line, well organized. They organize themselves and whatever. And this is where one of the locations in Paris were the Locks of Love. They used to be on a bridge, but it was weighing down the bridge, and the government said they cut them all off. They had to take them off because it was damaging the bridge. So this is one of the new locations. And these people actually traveled to the future, because we were here in June 2024. These people were here in April 2025, so they must have built a time machine and went backwards. And here's the view of Paris from the top of Montmartre at that church. Unbelievable. So we took our limo back, well, it's a van, back to the Arc de Trafic. And so you guys want to go inside? And we're like looking at this traffic, and then I tried to cross first, and we're like, no, I'm not doing that. And you can go up there. I think you can pay and look around, but basically you're going to see everything you saw. And she told us there's a much better vantage point that we showed you at the beginning of this video, and we'll talk about again, where you can see everything in France. So it's a much better place. So we just got out here. We took the obligatory tourist photo. And look at this place. This is nuts. How do people drive in circles? They're so weird. It's so like 1920s. Like, look at this guy in the Mercedes. He's like, woo! I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going to curve back into traffic and slow everything down. And then there's the big shopping district and places where they paint the sidewalk paint. Well, they were getting ready for the Olympics, so. Oh, OMG, so much true love going on. So our Russian tour guide was talking things in an accent I could barely understand. I wasn't even listening to her. I was there for the stuff, so we saw that, and a lot of people take this picture here. We went to La Tour Montparnasse. I don't know, this place was built in like 1973, and it's one of the tallest buildings in Paris. And this is a great place, and the tour guide turned us onto this, so we're grateful to her for showing us this. And she has these tour guide passes. So when you do a guided tour, they have these tour guide specials, and you don't have to pay anything. All your entrance fees are included, and they expedite you to the front of the line. So that's really nice. But look at the stunning views of Paris from here. Check this out. Amazing.
Gustav Eiffel, he has chosen this spot. I mean, it's amazing. And that is why we kept Paris.
La muerte. Oh no. Ay. Oh my God. Woo. There's more? Very magnifique. Oh my God.
So we started to head back to our hotel. Little to my knowledge, I didn't realize our tour was over. We drove by the cathedral at Notre Dame, which was damaged by a fire not too, well, I guess about a year before this video was filmed. And they're still working on it. It wasn't ready in time for the Olympics. So. And that is when our tour ended, and we saw these hot discotheque cops on rollerblades. And I'm like so jealous. I wanted to jump in there with them, but Felicia wouldn't let me. Now, that our Russian tour guide didn't understand us, or she just willingly blew us off, we had to go find the Emily in Paris stuff on our own. So we walked nearly 2 miles, and it was 95 degrees outside. It was hot, man. And we did find them. So this is Gabrielle's restaurant and the brasserie, or the bakery, where she bought her first chocolate croissant in like episode 1 when she first came to Paris. We were very disappointed that Gabrielle's restaurant looks nothing like it inside. So they used the street shots and they closed the windows. But the inside looks nothing like the real restaurant, so don't even bother eating there. It is an Italian restaurant. If you do want to do that just for bragging rights, whatever. So Felicia did order the chocolate croissant here in the bakery just to try it out. And she did say it was fairly heavenly. And the prices are unbelievable. It's like $2, I think. I thought it would be a lot more. They could probably get a lot more money in this place being a tourist destination.
Me? I do have nothing.
Nothing?
I'm going to go to Gabriel's bar to get a drink. That's it?
And here's the fake location where Emily supposedly lives in France. Of course, all those indoor shots are done on a sound stage and not here. But yeah, look, they do a great job on the show. And here's the fountain outside of her apartment, which is right down the street from Gabrielle's restaurant. And right down the side street, you're going to run into the Pantheon in Paris, which is a really interesting place. And I was very fortunate to find this place because it was air conditioned, or maybe it was just cooler. And what it is essentially a mausoleum for dead people. Kind of creepy, right? But the place is gorgeous. Here you can find the body or ashes or whatever's left of Voltaire, which is probably pretty nasty by now. And a lot of people lined up to leave pennies on top of Marie Curie's grave. And her husband's underneath, I guess. And I don't know if this is a thing, or people leaving pennies on top. I don't know what that's going to do. Maybe they'll be radioactive when they come back. Who knows? And also, Alexander Dumas, who wrote The Three Musketeers, is interred here forever. And a little bit further away, you're going to find the place where Emily theoretically works at this gallery, but you can see from the inside it looks nothing like what's going on there. They have curtains drawn, and there's 2 cafes in the courtyard, so if you want to take this photo opportunity, 2 really cute places to hang out. A little further beyond this, I guess south, if you're looking at direction, I guess it is this goofy little park with these things sticking up out of the ground. No idea what this means or what's going on here. Again, our tour guide was over, but a lot of people apparently know this place, and they take pictures on top of this, and we did the same thing. And then if you go to the right, just past this, is the park where Emily met whatever her friend's name is over there. Put that in the comments. I can't remember. I don't watch the show. a bunch of other people we know watch it. And this is the bench where she met her little friend in Paris. We had a little overpriced steak and some grilled cheese in France, and that was the end of that day. And the next day, it was finally time for our tour of the Louvre. So what's freaky is there's an underground entrance, and you actually walk into, it's like a shopping mall. It's really bizarre with some high-end stores. There's a sunglass hut. There's even a McDonald's down here. Here's the downward pointing pyramid, which is a big photo opportunity for you. And it's a pretty area. It really is kind of majestic and impressive because it's so big. And then we walk towards the group entrance. If you're on an organized tour, you can kind of skip the lines there. You don't have to buy tickets, so that's kind of nice if you're doing a private tour. We bought this on Viator, and I have the link in the comments below. And this guy was on point. I mean, everybody from this company was just amazing. They spoke great English. This guy actually lived in Florida for a while, so that was great. And a lot of these Americans here felt right at home with his accents. Easy to understand is a big plus. Much better than the Russian tour guide I couldn't understand at all. So again, this is the central part under the main pyramid that you see in the movies and everything. It's just a big, well-lit, beautiful area here where you get information. They speak English down. Most of these people speak English, so that's nice to know. Lockers, clear glass lockers, so there's no funky business here. You can't lock anything in there that you don't want people to know about. That's nice.
We're here in the rubber. It's very hot in here.
It's very hot.
Not very hot, but she's overreacting.
No,
It's a little warm. Not a lot, short a little bit. But check out the history. Is it worth it? We shall see. Oui, oui.
So there's a lot of really neat stuff to see in here. I guess we're in the dungeon. We start underground. Fortunately, it was actually kind of warm down here. Expected to be a little cooler. But these are some of the stones from the original buildings that were here. And you did see one of the sphinxes here. This is actually an authentic sphinx from Egypt. And a bunch of beautiful statues that are world-renowned, including the Venus de Milo. And what's really weird is you can get close enough to touch these things, which is really rare. I've never been in a museum where it's been close enough to touch. Some of these are stanchioned off for the busier days, like today. But some of this stuff, you could just reach over and touch it. Now, there will be some kind of attendant who'll come over and yell at you, but it's really neat that you can get that close and personal to these world-renowned, really historical works of art. And some stuff that you have probably seen in movies and films and magazines, probably learned about in school, all right here in front of you. So that's amazing. This is the Winged Victory of Montmartre. You know, apparently this is the inspiration for the Nike logo. That's what they tell us there. And I don't see it. And then the Sleeping Hermaphrodite, which is a interesting sculpture that has both male and female parts, which was fascinating. And if you have little kids, you may want to get your explanation and ready, especially that little thing in the head. But don't forget to look up in the Louvre, because some of the best art in the building is actually painted on the ceiling. Unbelievable vistas in this place. You keep your eyes open, look 360 degrees, and you never know what kind of magic you're going to find in this amazing museum. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. Definitely, if you have a day, it's going to take a day to go through this place because it's huge. We did a highlight tour that we booked on Viator, which I'll put in the comments below. And he was great. He took us to exactly the places we wanted to see. And we started to get a little bit closer once we're on the second floor, and we're going towards the Mona Lisa, which is the big highlight here. But again, there's so much more to see, so much art that may subjectively be better than the Mona Lisa. I'm not going to lie, I was really disappointed. Including some crown jewels, which you can videotape here, which you're not allowed to videotape in London, which is the most bizarre thing, because in London they want to sell you a book. Those greedy Britons. And this is the Stigmata painting. It's very, very famous. A lot of attention over here. Beautiful paintings. And these are the legit, real paintings by the artists, the way that they were done and restored and saved and preserved as best they can. Now we're getting into the Mona Lisa, and you start seeing stanchions here because they have to guide the crowds. A lot of people working here, a lot of security. And you can see some of the other paintings done by Leonardo da Vinci. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's 4 or 5 in here. They have a large portion of everything that he did. and including some paintings which I think are much better than the Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa got famous because it was stolen and all this happy horse stuff. There's lots of stories, but some of his other stuff I think is much better done. He spent more time on it or whatever. We're not even sure if he did the Mona Lisa. I'll tell you about that in a second. Now here's the Mona Lisa room. And now somebody threw soup or something on it. It's behind a piece of glass, and you can't even get close to it. You used to be able to get a lot closer to it, from what I understood, almost to the point where you could touch it. But now it's highly secured. It's behind this glass. They've got everything stanchioned off. If you go to the right, you can't see it. You have to, because you naturally go to the right when you enter a room. So you want to move to the left here if you want to get close and get a picture. And you can see that there's literally like hundreds of people in here trying to get a picture, and it's really hard. And there's a bunch of idiot teenagers trying to do selfies for their Instagrams. You know what I mean? And this painting in the back is much more majestic and much more beautiful. There's actually a Last Supper rendering with Jesus sitting in the middle of the table. This is, and look at the size of this thing. It's bigger than a room. It's bigger than my house, I think. This is gorgeous. What a work of art back there. But again, most people are paying attention to the Mona Lisa because the media hypocrisy and all the craziness about that. And you see how small it is. It's surprisingly small. I expected it to be a lot bigger. And here's what she looks like. Now you can see a copy of this thing done by one of, I think, Leonardo da Vinci's students, which is in a museum in Madrid, which actually has better color and better detail, and it wasn't ruined. Here's some more information. They spell it with two N's. I thought that was interesting. I've never heard that before, a little bit of information about it. And this is the one in the Prado Museum in Madrid, painted by a student. She looks a little younger. She's got more feminine features on here. I think this is actually a better photo. Lots of pictures and renderings of the French Revolution. And when you get hot, there are these air conditioner vents in the floor. So stand over that and cool off. A little pro tip that we found kind of on our own. Santé. Enchanté. So our next adventure is traveling in France. Now, it's hard to get a taxi because you have to go to an authorized taxi stand, which is pretty much in front of every major hotel. But we thought, let's jump on the metro. Let's see what that's all about. Trying the Paris subway. This smells like pee-pee bad in here. This is nasty. See how I'm going to buy these stupid cards, too. I couldn't just put my phone on there. Now, what's nice about the Paris subway as opposed to the tube in London is the cars are air conditioned. They are not air conditioned in London, so it's hot down there in the summertime. But yeah, this one we got on wasn't too crowded. We did transfer to another one, and it did get pretty crowded. And this is the point where you really need to keep an eye on your belongings. This here, people aren't back to back, but on this next train, we're back to back. People are standing right up to you, touching you. Europeans are a little less, they don't have a problem like backing and actually touching you and hugging you. It's really weird if you're an American because Americans need our space, but this is where you need to worry about your belongings. So keep your wallets close to you in your front pocket where you know what's going on. Just be very aware just in case. They do have the upcoming stops going on here, and they do have some bilingual action in the subway too, so you'll be able to find where you're going. Pretty easy to navigate, and there's maps everywhere. And if you have any questions, you can always use Apple Maps or Google Maps. They'll tell you exactly where to go, where to get off. What they couldn't tell you is how to get out of this freaking subway, because we're trying to follow the people, and a lot of these people are transferring. So we went this way, and then we turned around and we went back, and then we got lost, and then we could not figure out how to get the heck out of the subway. But oh my, we're in there at least 20 minutes trying to figure out how to get out to the street. We could not figure it out because the signage sucked. So eventually we did make it outside to the Seine River and got close to where our little boat was going to take away for our little daytime cruise on the Seine to try to cool off, get some of that wind blowing on us. Figure it'd be a little cooler by the water because it was hot. This woman's all plugged in, just taking video of the Seine on. It was a terrible angle. I'm not sure what she's doing there. Getting on a river cruise.
River cruise down the Seine.
Now, I'm not going to lie, this cruise was boring and stupid, but it was nice to get up our feet for a little bit. I mean, you basically see everything underneath the city. All you're looking at are a bunch of walls. There used to be homes, I guess, back here, and all that stuff's been scrapped and gone, and now you can walk down there, and there's some kind of sketchy people down there as well, a lot of homeless people. And there is the Eiffel Tower. You can get off your cruise and see that in the end. You can see the Olympic rings are up there as they were getting ready, and they had volleyball right outside there. So we got off our cruise, walked around here, and saw some other beautiful sights.
Felicity and Patty.
So sadly, our 2-day tour of Paris has come to an end, and we went to Charles de Gaulle Airport, which is actually the Delta terminal. I think this is Air France Delta, one of the prettiest, most beautiful airports I've ever seen. I mean, look at this place. Unbelievable. We did fly home Delta One, not to brag, but man, if you have the means to do this, this is unbelievable. And I have one word of advice: do not eat the warm shrimp. Believe me, I left a present in that men's room, which will probably outlive me. I was in there I couldn't relax because I had rumbling going on. You know what I'm talking about, so don't do that. They give you this nice little package. You got like a cover for your eyes, and
Once again, good.
what else is in here?
Afternoon,
I forget, was it? They give you some
everyone,
kind of
welcome
face
aboard.
wash or
Boarding
something. I
door
don't know,
has
all
been
this kind of
closed.
stuff. Here's your
We're ready for
eye
immediate
cover, your
departure.
blindfold.
Before
Which
the
we did
aircraft
keep. We took
move
home,
off,
and they give you a little
passengers
bamboo
remain in the
toothbrush.
seat.
I'm not sure if people brush their teeth on the plane, but I don't know, maybe they do. A little bamboo pen, that was kind of nice too. And you get to keep all this stuff. I thought you had to give it back.
In your bag,
But you don't. It's yours. You get the little flip-flop slippers, which I did not keep, and a TV thing. You know, 9-hour flight. It's going over the Atlantic. You're probably going to eat a little bit and then take a nice little nap. But yeah, Delta One, unbelievable. The cost is insane. So yeah, if you could look at the plugs. If you can afford this, definitely do it. But not a must. I probably wouldn't do it again. It's and now here's Felicia's little dinner. Fortunately, she did not have the same problems I did. But that was our 2-day tour of Paris. Please like, subscribe, and we're going to give you honest reviews of these places. And if you want honest reviews, this is the place to find them. Thanks for watching.